Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Today we discuss about the strategic planning and management. Yes, strategic planning and management. So, what is the strategic planning? The definition of strategic planning is the process of setting goals and designing the path towards a competitive position. The strategic plan helps create alignment of efforts and provides a layers of control. It is the strategic planning. It's telling us about the efforts, about the disciplined effort to produce a fundamental decision, an action that shapes and guides what an organization is. What an organization is. So the definition, the strategy is showing the organization is showing what it does, what is the organization is, what it does, and why it does it. It is the reasons what it does and why it does this, why it does it. It is the reasons of the business can convert to the planning, to the strategic planning. So the owners or the top management before running the business, they need to understand very well what the organization, understand very well what it does and why it does it. It is find the reasons why we need to run the business, why we need to do the business, what the action, and also what the natures of service or product, and finding the reasons before doing that business. So it is the vision. It shows on the vision where do we want to go. It is a business. So where do we want to go? We want to go to be the ecosystem company energy. We want to get a sustainable growth, and we want to help the people in the world, such as for the segmentation. We just want to make the life easier, or just to support the people, support the business, or it is for the consultation business, support the business to reach or to achieve that goal. It is the strategic plannings that need to set the vision, need to set the visions of the question where do we want to go, and mission also set. They refer to the answers of the question why do we exist. We need to find the reason why do we exist, and it is just for example the Tesla said to accelerate the world transition to sustainable energy. Yes, it is. The Tesla company have their own mission to accelerate the world transition to sustainable energy. That's right. They know already the vision. They know already the mission. Why do we exist? So we don't lose the way. We don't lose the direction. We need to go straight. And then number three is talking about value. How do we behave? The values is how do we behave? It's like the Google say, focus on the user and all else will follow. It is a value that the Google focus on the user and all else will follow. That's right. It is just a definitions of what is strategic planning. We recap. We can talk in the brief like this. The strategic planning is a disciplined effort to answer the question what an organization is and what it does and why it does it. Let's say we need to set up the vision to answer where do we want to go, and mission, what do we exist, why do we exist, and values is talking about how do we behave. Yes, it's interesting on that. And we also discussing about the strategic planning process that they talk about the environmental scan, the strategy formulation, strategy execution, evaluation, and control. In that things, we also discuss about the SWOT analysis, patterns, goals and initiative, plan and resource, KPIs and review. So in the parts of environmental scan, we'll focus on SWOT and pattern. Strategy formulation will focus on goals and initiative. Strategic execution will focus on plan and resource. And the last one is evaluation and control. We're talking about KPI and review. That is a process of strategic planning that we might think about a continuous cycle, real world. We also have the examples of that, like Apple use these cycles annually. Use the cycle annually. What cycles? Environmental scan, strategic formulation, and strategic execution, evaluation and control. They use it as a cycle to think about, to focus about the SWOT, the PETEL, the goals and initiative, plans and resource KPIs and reviews in the annually. That's why the big company, they think on that. They think on that so often, and they analyze it so often. Mostly it's in annual. Mostly it's in annual. That's why the organization, when they think on the strategic planning process, the organizations can follow, can find out what is the errors and what is the key improvement for the organization. And then they can improve it dramatically. And then they can review the KPI when we implement it, we got any issue or we need to build something to improve something to make it better from the process. So that's why we need to think it in annuals, or we need to think it very often to build or to run their own business, to run the business go forward, or we can say grow from time to time. So thank you for the strategic planning process, and see you next time.